IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, sponsored by CentralNHEvents.com. If you need a DJ for your event, go to CentralNHEvents.com. Tim Martin does a great job. And sitting here at The Planet this week, I am Matt from IPMNation.com, and my guest is Kenny Weilland. Hello, Kenny.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Good, good. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. And it's funny, we were kind of talking off air. I'm familiar with you. We've actually played some of your stuff on IPM Nation, show that I used to do with Matt Marcil from Tweak Sound and Mastering. We'll give Matt a little shout out because
Matt's a great guy.
He's I was best man at his wedding, actually.
Really?
And but he's also been very active in the music scene. He's recorded actually quite a few, now that I'm thinking about it, of the guests that we've had on this show have recorded at Matt's studio.
I'm sure. Matt's very competent, and he's patient, too, which is really counts. You know, when you're in a studio and when you got an engineer like that working with you, it makes things a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm just I forgot to mute my phone.
Don't worry, man.
I'm usually the last one to forget to do that, and this week, that's a little chime in the background. So we have a lot to talk about because you've done a lot in the scene, but you did bring some music with you tonight. So
sure. Why
don't we play something, and then we'll come back and chat. What do you want to play to start the show?
Let's go with the first track. It's I brought 4 songs from 2 CDs, the last 2 I've done. This one was done in 2009 called Chase Away the Blues. That's the title of the CD, and the track is called Better Leave That Girl Alone. All
right, so this is Better Leave That Girl Alone from Kenny Weilland here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
Better leave that girl alone. Boy, you know she'll turn your heart to stone. Don't let her fool you when she tells you pretty please. She'll take you in her arms and bring you to your knees. Boy, better leave that girl alone. Better leave that girl alone. Boy, you better turn and walk away. You know she'll hurt you if you stay. I've looked into her eyes, I saw the same thing too. She made a fool of me, and now she'll make a fool of you. Boy, better leave that girl alone. Better leave that girl alone. might believe she's just playing hard to get. But don't be blinded with her lies. She'll have you saying things you know you might regret. Love's an illusion that's hidden in her eyes, boy. Better leave that girl alone. Boy, she's not the type to take you home. She'll say she loves you with a smile upon her face. When the morning comes, she'll be gone without a trace. Boy, better leave that girl alone. Better leave that girl alone. Don't let her fool you when she tells you pretty please. She'll take you in her arms and bring you to your knees. Boy, better leave that girl alone. Better leave that girl alone. Better leave that girl alone. Better leave that girl alone.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, sponsored by Central NH Events, of course. Matt from IPMNation.com here at The Planet with Kenny Weilland is in the studio with us tonight. And, all right, so you've how long have you been active in the music scene in New Hampshire?
In New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Probably around 2000, 2001, right around there.
Okay.
Yeah, I just moved to New Hampshire in 97, and I started playing guitar again. I was playing guitar way back in the 70s, 80s, and then took a break. It was about 10 years when I was living in Vermont. And then when Gail and I moved to New Hampshire, I bought an old Dreadnought and started playing a little bit and jamming with some guys over at a little music store in Pennacook. Mm-hmm. And met some guys, some musicians there. We were jamming on Saturday mornings and started playing with a guy named Steve Ullman, a real good lead guitar player. And we got along real well, and he complimented the music. And we started playing as the Swunk Brothers.
Yes. And
the name is kind of peculiar, but he was trying to describe our music to his fiancée at the time, and she said, well, what do you play? And he said, well, it's kind of swing, and it's kind of funk. And she said, well, just call it Swunk.
Yeah.
Said, all right, great, and it stuck.
Very nice.
Yeah, so basically in New Hampshire, probably around 2000 or so, we started doing open mics and then gradually get into the little small venues and lounges and stuff.
Where did you live prior to coming here?
Prior to New Hampshire, I was in northern Vermont.
Oh, okay.
And prior to that, I was in West Virginia, where I had played a lot of music.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Prior to that, I was in Washington, D.C., where I was stationed in the Army, and that's where I picked up the guitar. I was around 21 or so.
No kidding. That's late.
It's a long ways back, but there was a guy in the barracks, had a beautiful old Martin guitar. His name was Roger Fenton. I still remember him. great guitar player too, and I asked if I could just mess around with his guitar, and I learned like everybody else, just borrowing other people's instruments and saying, let me just mess around with a little bit.
So you had never owned a guitar of your own prior to that?
Never did.
No kidding.
The only problem is I'm a lefty.
Yeah.
And of course everybody's guitars are right-handed. So I started playing it upside down, and nobody really said anything about it that I recall.
Yeah.
And there I am playing a guitar upside down with a big string on the bottom.
No kidding.
I did that for a couple of years, again, borrowing right-handed guitars. And then when it came around to buying my own guitar, I just said to heck with it, because I'd already learned a bunch of chords upside down and quite a few songs. So I've been playing upside down backwards ever since.
So you still play that way?
I don't have any choice.
That's interesting. That's really interesting to me, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone play that way.
There's quite a few. If you want a real a blast of reality, go on YouTube and just type in upside down left-handed guitar players and see what pops up.
No kidding.
There are some absolutely outrageous guitar players that play upside down.
Is that how Hendrix played? Did he play
Hendrix
that way?
started out that way. I remember seeing a documentary on him, and he did play upside down for a while, and then I think it was one of his managers finally bought him a Telecaster that was right side for him with a big string on top. But he could play both ways.
Interesting.
But Doyle Bramhall III is one of the best that I've seen, and he backs up people like Clapton. I've seen him on Crossroads, that big guitar festival, the blues festival they do. And I watched this guy in the background playing, and I said, well, he's a lefty, and it sure enough looks like it's upside down.
No kidding.
Yeah, and you look him up, and Doyle Bramhall had a band with a bunch of guys that were called the Archangels. Yeah. And Doyle is an amazing guitar player. And there's quite a few others too. Like I say, just go on YouTube there and type it in there.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I've came across one guy when I was out in Vegas. There was a house band, and I was watching the guitar player. And he's really good, and I looked close, and sure enough, he's playing upside down. He's got a big old Strat. Wow. And he played the heck out of it. He did a solo. He did Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Which is easy song, right? But he was ripping it up. The guy was amazing. I talked to him for a while, too. I like to talk to these guys and say, what color is the sky on your planet?
Right,
things like that.
Can you play the other way if you have to? Or
No. I've tried it.
Yeah.
No, it's cemented in there now. It's embedded in my DNA. It's not going to change.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So, so you picked up. So you were in the military when you picked up the guitar, and then
and I played coffee houses around D.C. Again in the mid '70s, early '70s. And mostly folk rock, and people like Cat Stevens, that was popular then, and James Taylor was just coming on. A lot of Gordon Lightfoot stuff, which I really loved. Yeah. So it was more of the folk and folk rock music. And then I moved to West Virginia, became a ski bum. Loved it, too. I was teaching skiing by day and playing music at night.
Wow.
Doing a lot of solo shows in the lounge, a couple of small bars and lounges in the area. Yeah. And I was also playing with a bluegrass band called Late Harvest. And we were playing in D.C., and then I moved, and then they came up to West Virginia. They were also skiers, so it worked out great. Yeah, and we had a couple of bars and the main lodge that we would play at from time to time, and we played together for, 5 years or so. No kidding. Had a lot of fun doing bluegrass or reasonable facsimile thereof, let's put it that way. But we had an awful lot of fun doing that. And I was in West Virginia for a while, and then I met Gail, and it was a little bit rough being in a rural area, not a lot of work available. You ski in the winter, but then in the summers, pick up construction work and continue to play music. But I was starting to burn out right around 86, 87 or so. And that's when we moved to northern Vermont and got me a real job. Working with computers, and I did that for about 15 years. So there was a 10-year span that I didn't play any music from late 80s to late 90s. No kidding. None at all? Just hardly. I sold all my equipment at one point. So I was guitarless for, a good 10 years. it was just a break, that you need sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then when did you come to New Hampshire?
97 we moved.
Okay.
And I was still working with computers, but I bought a guitar, and I wanted to get more into the recording and writing. I've always loved writing songs and writing music, and I was just starting to get back into it, and that's when we started going to a little music store and jamming with some other musicians.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Steve Allman, and we did the Swunk Brothers and continued on. So
yeah.
And then I started playing with Steve Organic after Steve Allman moved, and Steve Allman and I played as the Swunk Brothers for a couple of years, 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. And then he went into doing some other stuff. Well, he got married and had a kid, and that that stops a lot.
Yeah. That's why I haven't done that.
Yeah. It changes the whole dynamics, as they say. But Steve's a wonderful guy. He's a heck of a musician. A shout out to Steve if he if he listens to this. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
But a great guy, a great musician. And then I started doing a little bit more solo stuff. And things happened in 2002. I got laid off.
Yeah.
I was doing computer work up until then, and when I got laid off, I really had to turn back to the music to, fill in the gaps and pay the rent.
Sure.
Yeah, so I started really concentrating more on that and doing more writing and then recording, and that's when I met Matt. And I did a home recording, and it was so-so, but I had it mastered over at Blackwater Studio. You know Chris Westerman?
No.
Great guy.
Where's that?
It's in Webster.
Okay.
And yeah, and I did a barter thing because of my computer work. I was doing website design.
Oh, okay.
So I bartered a little bit, And Chris
cool.
said, "Well, you do my website, and I'll give you some studio time." And I
Nice.
said, "Great."
Yeah.
So it works out fine.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with Matt.
Yeah.
I do his website as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you do the Tweak Sound. It's tweaksound. Is it tweaksound.com or .net? I forget now.
.com.
It is .com. Okay.
Yeah.
And Tweak is TWEEK.
There you go.
We should mention. So I didn't realize you did the website. That's great.
Yeah. Well, actually, Matt does all the artwork. He was very specific about it.
Yeah.
So he sends me the pictures, and I just did the layout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
oh, that's cool.
But, there's certain other things that you have to do when you're doing a website. So,
sure.
But he provided all the artwork, and, he's terribly talented.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a great website. So
yeah, it is nice,
awesome.
and it's clean, and I said just make sure that people can go wherever they want.
Yeah.
Just make it fluid.
Absolutely.
So that works good. Yeah, so I did a home, like a basement CD, and it was all done audio. I mean, when I say audio, on a little Tascam,
really?
8-track.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first real recording toy.
Yeah.
I tried some stuff on reel to reel way back when. But having the 8-track was fun, and I was just exploring and learning. And it came out fairly good, and then I had it mastered over at Blackwater. And
was it just you, basically?
It was
you
just
and a guitar?
me, and I used a MIDI sequencer to do all the background stuff.
Yeah. Huh.
Again, for me, it was just a big learning curve,
sure.
and didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, so I did all the vocals and guitar work, but everything else, the drums, piano, and everything else, was all MIDI.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like I say, a real learning experience.
Yeah.
Play as you go.
Yeah.
And it came out all right, but I put it up on CD Baby and sold a few CDs,
Yeah.
But I was just interested to see what I could get out of it. Plus, my main purpose, my whole focus is writing music. I'm a songwriter, been writing forever.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is write the songs and get other people to play them. So the best way to do that, you have to package it up and make a CD, post it, and get it up there on the web. CD Baby is a great place for it because they're affiliated with all the download sites.
Right, yeah.
And you send your CD there, and it's up and it's ready, and then they're affiliated with iTunes and eMusic and Rhapsody, so it's automatically goes out there into that great internet.
Yeah.
And that way I can email independent artists that I see on the web, and they're not signed by anybody. I say, well, here, I've got some music that I think you like.
Yeah.
Check out this site. Here's, samples of it. And That's the only way I can go about doing it. I find other artists and I say, check out my music.
Sure.
If you're looking for, some original stuff, and I was able to. I sold the recording rights to one song to a guy named Johnny Boyd, who used to be the front man for Indigo Swing. They were a real hot swing band out in the West Coast back in the 90s.
Huh.
And then he went solo, and he bought recording rights to one of my songs. I don't think he ever recorded. I never
no
heard
kidding.
from him. But later on, I think around 2006 or 7 maybe, I did get this girl named Ava Dupree, who's a wonderful bluesy, soulful singer out in the West Coast, and she covered one of my songs, a real blues tune called, name escapes me right now. This Heart Ain't Breaking for You.
Okay.
And did a heck of a version. I mean,
Really?
just a monster version of it live in the studio.
What's her name? Ava Dupree?
Ava Dupree.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got a clip on it on my website on swunk.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
But she did a knockout job of it. I mean, and that's the beauty of writing songs. I can do good versions of it, but I love it when other people do it.
Yeah.
It invariably sounds better.
Does it? Yeah.
Invariably, yeah. And I've had a few other people record some songs. A couple of people do perform my songs, when they're out. It's part of their repertoire.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and it's a real compliment, especially other songwriters that pick up your music. That's a real compliment.
Yeah, that's tremendous validation for what you're doing. That's fantastic.
Really, yeah. It's the height of flattery, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
Very good. Well, Kenny, why don't we play another track, because you brought some tunes with you. What do you want to?
Great.
What do you want to
also
play
off the let's do track 2.
Okay.
This is also off Chase Away the Blues. And did this in 2009. This is track 2 called Chase Away the Blues.
All right, Chase Away the Blues from Kenny Weilland here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
Just don't understand it. I guess I never will. Well, sometimes my baby loves me, sometimes she never will. Sometimes she says maybe, sometimes maybe not. She drives me crazy, the way she's playing with my heart. If I was a doctor, I'd find a way. I'd mix some magic potion, chase the blues away. I got pills to ease a fever, take away the pain. And if she's sad and lonely, I can even stop the rain. Or just give me half a chance. But that's all you've gotta do. And I take away the heartache, chase away the blues. I'm gonna take away the heartache, chase away the blues. and even stop the rain. Well, just give me half a chance. It's all you've gotta do. And I'll take away the heartache, chase away the blues. Don't take away the heartache, chase away the blues. I'm gonna take away the heartache, chase away the blues.
100.1, the planet's local outbreak with IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, sponsored by Central NH Events. Remember, if you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. You can hire Tim Martin. He'll DJ your event, your shindig. That's the operative term here on the show, Kenny. We call it a shindig.
I've been to a few.
It's sort of an all-encompassing,
I haven't heard that term really since I left West Virginia, really. I mean, our bluegrass band did a lot of shindigs.
Yeah, well, there you go.
We actually got paid for one or two.
That's what it's all about, the shindig. Yeah, that's right. So tell me, Kenny, about some of the players, some of the people in the area that you've played with.
Yeah, on this album, there's first two cuts that we listened to, Chase Away the Blues. I utilized some players from a group called Rooftop 5. When I met them, it was just Rooftop 3, and then gradually they continued to grow.
Yeah.
And we used to jam together a lot down at the old Green Martini before it burnt.
Yes.
And we were sad. I mean, I'm still sad about that one. It was, matter of fact, the first year anniversary was February 12th.
No kidding, yeah. Yeah, we've had a few guests on the show who used to play there.
Oh, loved it. I met some great musicians down there, and we used to have some wonderful jam sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't beat it. So I met these two guys from the Rooftop. It was a trio, I think, when I met them. And Derek Adams played saxophone. He's a wild man. Bobby Winton was playing guitar, and Paul Stoffaker, great friend. He was playing guitar when I first met him, but then he switched over to drums, and I didn't know he was a drummer. And then he got on this little electronic set that he had, and he's awesome. Yeah, absolutely amazing. He's actually on the next CD, and we'll hear him on a couple of cuts. But I was jamming with these guys down there, and when it came around to doing a CD, I invited Bobby and Derek, and Paul, unfortunately, was going through some medical issues, so he couldn't play. And but they said, sure, come on over. So we were right down there in the basement at Tweak Sound. And I hate to bring it up, but I actually used MIDI for the background, the drums and the bass, and I think some piano and a couple of effects on that CD, because believe it or not, musicians don't have a heck of a lot of money.
That is true.
Broke musicians, they say, is a redundancy in terms. So you got I'm on a very limited budget when I go into a studio.
Sure.
Matt is real good about keeping the cost down, but when I get in there, I don't like to take a lot of time, so we do things the first, second cut, and that's it. And I did the same thing with I got Derek and Bobby in there. I said, well, okay, here's the songs, you've listened to it and rehearsed a little bit, so and I doubt very much we spent more than did more than 2 or 3 tracks.
No kidding.
It's get him in and get him out.
That's right.
And then I let Matt work his magic. When it comes to mixing, he's extraordinary.
Yes,
he really is good. He added some stuff in there that I never would have thought of. He would cut and paste something.
No kidding, yeah.
Yeah, in some spots, and I go, I don't remember doing it. I said, well, no, I found it over here in this other track there, and I blended it in. So it's fun. He's very imaginative and a blast to work with.
Yeah.
So
a lot of energy, too.
Yeah.
Very energetic guy.
But the sax parts and the Bobby's guitar parts on there, that album there has got a little bit more of a funk resonance to it. Mm-hmm. It's jazz, and most of the other stuff, I've got a lot of swing tunes and jazz, a couple of ballads, but they lent a real good funky groove to it. It was a lot of fun working with them. And I miss them, because we don't get together anymore for jam sessions. Derek and I played down at Concord Downtown Days in the summer.
Yeah.
I was at the beer tent, and Derek was available, so he came up and played sax. It was like old times,
nice. Yeah.
Well, playing with great musicians is what it's all about.
Yeah. Now, do you play out a lot currently, or are you doing a lot of shows? Or?
In the summer I play a lot. I'll probably average 6, 7, 8 gigs a month.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, for a solo, I try to work with other musicians, but again, if the gigs don't pay a heck of a lot, I hate to invite somebody and say, well, I got enough for gas money, and that's about it.
Right.
Because the gigs don't pay an awful lot.
Yeah.
And especially the stuff that I'm doing, I don't do the late night bar gigs anymore.
Sure.
So most of the stuff I'm doing is nice, laid back restaurant, cafes, small lounges.
Yeah.
Places in Concord. I love playing at Hermanos.
Yeah.
Got a gig coming up there again in April. We play down there once every 2 or 3 months or so. And Brad Myrick has been joining me down there on that gig. And we're at Hopkinton Blazers. I play over there once in a while. Got a gig coming up there in April. This Friday, I'm playing at the Sunapee Coffee House. And this is a wonderful place. I did an open mic over there in December just to see what it's like. And they've been hosting this Friday night gig for almost 10 years now.
Really? See, I wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah, and it's not well advertised, but again, you browse and look for Sunapee Coffee House, Sunapee Community Coffee House, I think they call it.
Okay.
And they've been doing this thing for 10 years. It's a voluntary effort. It's down in a church. They got a beautiful room, nice sound system. And they've got some wonderful players from all over England. I mean, top-notch stuff. So I was really honored to be included in the spring lineup.
Oh, very cool.
And Brad wasn't busy, so he'll join me this Friday, and we're really looking forward to that. Because it's a sit-down crowd. They come to listen to music, and it's very different from playing the lounges where people are just sitting down eating food and stuff and partying.
Do you have a favorite spot to play, or?
Right now, out of all the gigs that I'm playing, probably like Hermanos.
Yeah,
it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I've been playing down there for a couple of years now, so. Generally, I go there. There's at least 2 or 3 tables of people that I know, and they know I'm playing there. And it's especially good if Brad's not playing a gig someplace and he can join me, because it's a lot more fun when he's available. And he's a monster guitar player. We've played together close to 2 years now, I think.
How long a set do you do typically when you're playing out? Does it vary, or? It
varies.
Because you must have a lot of material.
It's actually up to the owner, The owners to say, usually it's anywhere from 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you play maybe 45 minutes, take 15 minutes off.
Yeah.
Go out and play some more.
How many songs do you have in terms of originals? Do you have any idea how many you've written?
Oh, total?
Yeah, or ballpark
Couple
figure?
hundred.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go way back into the 80s, there's 1 or 2 songs that I wrote back in late 70s, early 80s that I still play.
No kidding.
The rest of them are trash. But that's the way it is. It's like throwing stuff against the wall.
Yeah.
Keep writing. And, it takes maybe 5 songs to get the one good one.
Sure.
But I got to keep trying it, and see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like mixing up the genres. Most of my stuff now is jazz-oriented, funk, and a little bluesy. a little Americana, a little rootsy sometimes.
Yeah.
But I like to mix it up. I love swing music. Always loved swing music.
You mentioned, too, when you used to play bluegrass. Is that the most challenging of any of the genres that you've played? Because I watch bluegrass musicians, and it just seems like it just looks really, for a guy who plays bass, and I played in metal bands and stuff like that, when I watch bluegrass players playing, it just looks really hard.
Some of it nowadays is. I mean, some of these people now are playing things that I just never would have imagined back when we were playing. And we did a lot. The traditional stuff is fun because everybody does it.
Yeah.
And so you can sit in and play the traditional music. When I used to go to bluegrass festivals, I lived in D.C. That's where I sort of got into the music thing, especially with bluegrass. I'm watching these people play, and they're having such a blast.
Yeah.
And the nice thing I liked about bluegrass was the harmonies.
Yeah.
And I learned harmony when I was a kid in Catholic school.
Oh, okay.
I had a great music teacher, and she had us in 5th grade singing 3-part harmony.
Oh, no kidding.
So I had a good ear for it, and my brothers were singers. My dad sang forever,
That's one of the things that looks so challenging to me about it is because you got to be able to play and sing harmonies. And you have to, and in a bluegrass band, you have to be really good at that.
Yep.
You not only have to be able to play well, but you got to really nail those harmonies.
Well, but when they're singing, you watch good band, the only thing you hear is the rhythm.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of lead going on when somebody's singing. When you've got
that's true.
The lead, taking the lead, and then as soon as, and there's very little back play because you don't want to overplay the lead player.
Yeah.
And it's true of all music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jazz, too, same thing. But then when the chorus picks up, it's just the voices, and again that backbeat. You've got the heavy bass going, and the mandolin.
Yeah.
They're and the banjo. I mean, those are all basically rhythm instruments.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you break loose with the solos. And that's when you hear the mandolin come up and the fiddle and the banjo and the guitar.
Yeah.
But when the people are singing, you're not supposed to hear.
Yeah, that's true.
All the other instruments. You just want that steady rhythm.
Right.
And an occasional little lick here and there. And that's what I loved about it. And it's very, very similar to jazz. The first bluegrass group that I saw was a Country Gentleman, and this is back when I was in the Army, so I'm talking way back in '68. This guy across the hall, I told you that I borrowed his guitar. Roger says, "Come on, we're going down to see the bluegrass band." And we went down to this little place called the Shamrock Bar, Shamrock Inn, or something like that. It was down in Georgetown, and there's these 4 guys in there playing wonderful music, and the vocals, the harmonies were great. And I still remember, it's like I'm still sitting here and I can still see them up there, and they were having so much fun.
Yeah.
Because they're cutting loose, and this is like jazz, it's improvisation.
Wow.
There's 32 bars, and they point to the mandolin player, have fun, we'll see you.
Right.
And John Duffy takes off, and Charlie Waller was on guitar, Eddie Adcock was on banjo. I remember all this stuff.
Wow, yeah.
And I just listened. I said, these guys actually get paid to have this much fun.
Right, right.
And it was a ball, and I really got stuck on bluegrass, and I met a couple of the guys. We started a late harvest band, and the harmonies is really what I love the most about it.
Yeah.
Because musically, none of us were really all that good. We
Really?
could keep the tempo up, and we had good energy, but the harmonies were really solid.
No drums, right, in traditional bluegrass?
No, not in traditional stuff, but they do them now.
Yeah. Is that, that's the other thing about it that to me just looks challenging, that makes me kind of in awe of it, the lack of drums.
Yeah, but the real rhythm instruments, like the banjo, is truly a rhythm instrument.
Right.
Certainly the mandolin is.
Yeah.
And then the bass.
Yeah.
They got that bottom end covered. So
That's
you really
true.
don't need, not in traditional stuff for sure,
Yeah.
but a good friend of mine, Missy Raines, has a band called Missy Raines and the New Hip.
Yeah.
And Missy played bass with us when she was like 15 years old.
Oh, no kidding.
And she is just astounding. She's won Bluegrass Bass Player of the Year award like 7 or 8 times in a row or
Wow,
something.
no kidding.
Yeah, she has this one old band. She lives out in Nashville area now. And we're still in contact. Matter of fact, we're hoping to meet up maybe in August.
Yeah.
But her band plays wonderful acoustic jazz.
Huh.
I mean, over the top stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw them play. It's a 4-piece, and they were playing in Vermont, and we got to drive over there and see them play. And I hadn't seen the band play before then.
Yeah.
And just absolutely amazing stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, so, the music's taken all these different tangents,
right.
different directions, which is what it's all about.
Exactly, yeah.
Push the envelope, until there is no envelope.
Right. I like that, yeah.
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Why don't we play another track? Because you did bring some music with you. What do you want to play?
All right. This is from the most recent CD that I just released last August.
Okay.
And the title is of the CD is Cruising in My Coupe de Ville. And we're going to do a wonderful song on this. Is called Find My Way Through the Storm. This is one of Brad's favorites. And I have to do a shout out to Brad Myrick.
Yeah.
We met at Allen's restaurant in Bosco.
Okay.
He runs the open mic on Wednesdays. He's been doing it for a couple of years, and I went over and played, and he got up and offered to play along with me. I said, sure.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful stuff. He's really a wonderful jazz musician, but he can play any genre.
Nice.
Absolutely anything.
Really?
He's got a resume a mile long for only being 30 years old.
Oh, wow. Huh.
He was a session player out in L.A. for 5 years and lived over in Italy and did a lot of session work there and production work. So he is one of my favorites, as far as great musicians in the area, and we've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
So shout out to Brad for his wonderful guitar work on this one, called Find My Way Through the Storm.
All right, Find My Way Through the Storm from Kenny Weilland here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
I was sailing across the sea without a compass guiding me, no one to help me my time of need. Would your love rescue me, keep me safe and warm as I find my way through the storm? Safe and warm as I find my way through the storm. If I was stranded out on the road, alone and hungry, growing old, no place to hide from the bitter cold, would your love rescue me, keep me safe and warm as I find my way through the storm? Safe and warm as I find my way through the storm. If I was worried and too confused, with no direction left to choose, alone and wounded, nothing to lose, would your love rescue me, keep me safe and warm as I find my way through the storm? Safe and warm as I find my way through the storm. was marching off to war. 1,000 reasons I'm dying for. And when it's over, 1,000 more. Would your love rescue me, keep me safe and warm, as I find my way through the storm? Safe and warm, as I find my way through the storm. Safe and warm, as I find my way through the storm.
Local Outbreak, sponsored by Central NH Events here on 100.1 The Planet. I am Matt from IPMNation.com, and our guest tonight is Kenny Weilland. And Kenny, where is the best place to find you online in terms of, because you play pretty regularly.
Of where I'm playing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
My website's swunk.com, S-W-U-N-K, swunk. It's...
That's easy.
Yeah, it stands for swing and funk.
Yeah.
And we combine them. It was either swunk or fwing. Fwing just doesn't roll off your tongue that easy.
I think you made the right choice.
Swunk.com, you go there. I've got music and videos, and my gig calendar is listed there.
Excellent.
And news and stuff. It's all there.
Yeah. And do you also offer your web design services for, because obviously you do the Tweak Sound.
Yeah, I've got, maybe a handful, but, once you do the design, there's not a heck of a lot left to do.
Right.
People will update it a little bit, but, by and large nowadays, it's just as easy for people to do their own websites.
Yeah.
There are so many places out there, and, it costs you $5 a month, I guess. You can build your own website online, especially for musicians, because I did a lot of work for musicians. And now they can build one on CD Baby, just do it yourself.
Right.
And that way they have control over it, which is really what a lot of people like, but they don't want to go through the hassle of learning HTML and JavaScript and all the other stuff, So now they've got these do-it-yourself sites, so I don't have a heck of a lot of business with that anymore, but I've still got a few old clients,
Yeah, I mean, not everyone really has the patience or the discipline to do their own.
Occasionally somebody will say, I don't want to go through that learning thing. This is all I want. And most of my clients, really just small businesses. They don't have, it's not interactive sites or anything going on like that. It's just pretty much an electronic brochure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it comes down to. And, I've told them to design it that way. Pretend that you're doing a brochure, okay. Yeah. And instead of pages, you got a link here and it takes you to that page. You got a link here, it takes you to that page. So keep it real basic, keep it real simple.
Exactly.
People don't like to get lost in the hubris.
Exactly.
It's my word of the day.
Yeah, that's a good word. Do you have anything new that you're working on as far as recording, or you just focusing on...
In the winter months, I cut back on the gigs. In the winters, maybe 3 or 4 gigs a month, and then I concentrate more on writing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to hibernate in New England, you might as well do something productive.
Exactly.
So that's when I settle back. And so I've got maybe three new songs, that I've been working on this winter.
Yeah.
Gradually, every 2 years, I like to try and come up with another CD of original stuff.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll play one more track in a moment.
Great.
I do want to remind everybody, of course, Local Outbreak sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your shindig, as we discussed earlier, go to centralnhevents.com. Mr. Tim Martin does a great job. There's even a picture of him, so you can see him before you hire him, because people like to get the visual, of who they're hiring.
Yeah, and of course everything you see on the internet is real.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tim's the most real guy I know.
Okay.
I don't know what I mean by that, but no, seriously, no, Tim's great, and he does do a phenomenal job. I've seen him in action. CentralNHEvents.com, and he's a big part of what makes this show possible. So very happy to have him involved as always. And I want to remind everybody too, IPMNation.com/local outbreak is where we archive all the shows. So if you want to be able to relive all the glory of this program, you can. You can stream it, you can download it, keep it forever and ever. All the shows are archived there.
I'll shout it from the rooftops.
That's right. There we go.
All right.
IPMNation.com/local outbreak. And also we have the little Local Outbreak radio. You'll find that link on there too, which just plays local musicians from New Hampshire. So
cool.
It's all right there for you. And Kenny, this has been great. Kenny Weilland.
I've enjoyed this, Matt. Thank you so much for asking. And I really appreciate the fact that The Point has got a spotlight on local talent, because there are some extraordinarily talented musicians in the area in Concord. Just when I think I've met just about everybody I know, I mean, all the musicians through these various open mics and stuff, man, there's a new one that pops up.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I'm going, who are you?
I've actually had people ask me, is it hard to book the show? Is it hard to find good musicians around to interview? And I'm like, no, there's the scene here is just full of really talented people.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tiny little Concord, but it's fun. And it's and the Purple Pit opened up now. I've got my jazz place to go to, so I'm happy. Yeah.
Excellent. And swunk.com is the website. Keep up with everything Kenny is doing. Yep. And we'll play one more track to wrap up the show. What do you want to play?
Yeah, this is also off the last one I released in August, Cruising in My Coupe de Ville. This song is called She Makes It Look So Smooth. And this is, I actually wrote it with a girl in mind who is a wonderful entertainer, a great singer, Mary Fagan. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
No.
She grew up in the Concord area, Bow, I believe, and then played music around here forever. She's been living out in Austin, Texas for maybe 10 years, plays a lot of music. She is just such a incredibly talented girl. Woman, I should say. I mean, she's been at it for a long time. She's a gypsy. Yeah. She's on the road constantly. We keep in touch, and when she comes home for summers, maybe 2 or 3 months, we get together and I'll back her up sometimes.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun. And I wrote this with her in mind because I saw her sing a couple of times, and she does make it look so smooth. And she actually added this song to her repertoire along with one or two more.
Oh, very cool.
And so a shout out to Mary. Looking forward to see you again in the summer, babe.
Awesome. All right. So this is She Makes It Look So Smooth from Kenny Weilland here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Thanks, Kenny.
She makes it look so easy. She makes it look so smooth. She makes it feel like the world stands still every time she moves. I love that lovely motion from her head down to her shoes. Everybody else trying to find that beat, she's always in the groove. Makes it look so smooth. She makes it look so easy. She makes it look just right. She's got a way to make you stay and watch her move all night. She got that Texas rhythm and sweet Chicago blues. Everybody else trying to find that beat, she's always in the groove. Makes her look so smooth. And all the boys say, yeah, she can rock my chair. The girls say, Lord, it's just not fair. Nobody's got a right to do the things she does and the way she do. Makes it look so smooth. She makes it feel like the world stands still. Every time she moves, makes it look so smooth. And all the boys say, yeah, rock my chair. The girls say, Lord, it just ain't fair. Nobody's got a right to do the things she does and the way she do. Makes it look so smooth. She makes it feel like the world stands still. Every time she moves, makes it look so smooth. Say, yeah, she can rock my chair. The girls say, Lord, it's just not fair. Nobody's got a right to do the things she does and the way she do. Makes it look so smooth. Doing it right on a hot summer night. Every time she moves, makes it look so smooth. Every time she moves, makes it look so smooth. Every time she moves, makes it look so smooth.
100.1 The Planet's local outbreak with IPMNation.com.
The Planet's local outbreak with IPMNation.com is recorded weekly at the studios of 100.1 The Planet. It's hosted and engineered by Matt Connerton of IPMNation.com. It's edited and produced by Annie Biello of 100.1 The Planet. For details about the Planet's local outbreak, log on to WPNHFM.com for artist links, as well as the link for IPMNation.com/local outbreak, where you can check out previously aired episodes anytime and all the time of 100.1 The Planet's local outbreak. The Planet's local outbreak is brought to us by Labatt Blue. Good stuff awaits. Heat, Route 3 Weirs Beach, and CentralNHEvents.com. The Planet's local outbreak with IPMNation.com is a product of 100.1 The Planet. Locally owned and independently operated with Northeast Communications here in central New Hampshire.
IPMNation.com.